Hey, Steve, KC8QVO here. I'm going to do the installation of my Rancho MyRide system, but before I do that, I'm going to give you guys a couple of quick notes on the shocks. Okay, so we're looking at one of the back shocks right here, and with all the videos on installing shocks recently, I'm not going to go through and do the entire installation on these, but what I did want to point out is the adjuster knob here. We're actually going to be taking that off. If you look in there and see the two cap screws, those are what we're going to pull out to install the coupler for the MyRide kit. Okay, so what I wanted to show you guys down here on the bottom mount for the front shocks is there's this little lever thing that's attached to the nut on the bottom. Let's see if I can get the camera down underneath there. That just makes it so you can get the nut on there without holding the wrench on the back side, which makes it awfully nice. You can just put an impact on that bolt right there and it'll buzz right out. Alright, we're looking at the top now. The way I did it when I originally put this on was I put the washer on in the bottom bushing, and I left the washer and the bushing on the top off. I just went in and hung it basically by the nut, then went down to the bottom and put the bolt in, tightened that down, then came back up and put the rest of the components on the top side. So otherwise you don't have a whole lot of thread left on the top for that nut to go down on. It's a little bit more difficult, so that may save you some time. Okay, so when you open the box, this is what you get: instructions, some hardware, about 70 or 75 feet of 1/4 inch air line. That's the MyRide controller, which if you look on the back side, it's got a threaded insert, so I guess you could mount it on the dash somewhere if you wanted to. And that's the control module. You got your power and compressor cables on there, and there's an indicator light on the top too that lets you know when the controller and the handheld unit are synced up together. And then there's the compressor, just your main air line there on the top of it, or output I should say. Then that'll wire back into the controller there. But with the hardware, this is why you got to take the knobs off. Let's see if I got that in the camera view. Yep, there it is. So the two cap screws that are on the plate holding the knob on, you pull those off and kind of disassemble that, and that's where this goes, so the air pressure gets in there to make the adjustments on the shock ride. And here's my tool set to do this. It takes an 1/8 inch Allen wrench to get those cap screws off, which they supply one to you in the hardware kit, but I'm going to go ahead and use my drill and make it go a little quicker. And also, don't forget your safety glasses. Alright, this is where I'm putting my air compressor and control box. It's actually on top of the fuse block that's up underneath the hood on the driver's side. Not the most ideal spot, because they're just kind of loose, but I figured if I tie up the wires and air hoses that go back to it, then that should be alright. Then I'm just directly powering it off the battery for now, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll hook it up to a switch or something later on. I'm going to go ahead and start on the back driver's side shock here, so go ahead and get this one knocked out. They also tell you to make sure these knobs are on one, which they are. They're close, but I went about 1.5. I guess that'd be 2. Never mind. Just so I can get that tool in there on that side. Alright, so I've got one of these couplers. Make sure I've got it in the camera. Yep, there it is. there's a few pieces. You got that, the gasket, and you got a little O-ring to put on there. They tell you to use lithium grease, but I don't have any. But I've got a little tube of dielectric grease that I'm going to use instead. I've used that for seals in the past, so just go ahead and put a little bit of that on the O-ring, and that should be good. While I'm sitting here looking at it, I'll show you how this thing functions too. That's the little adjuster knob. So basically all it does is, as you screw that out or tighten it down, this little piece comes out. It's just threaded inside. So if you go all the way, you can pull that out and take a look at it. But all that does is push against a piston that's up inside the shock. Okay, I'm sitting here underneath the engine, and I just got all the pneumatic lines run. So I'm going to use this light. I'll see if you can't see where I ran all those up through. That's the driver's side there. And I've got the, this is kind of hard to do with the light. Okay, there you go. That's the T right there for the front lines. That's on the main cross beam. There's the axle. It's directly above the front axle. That's where it tied the lines up to. Kind of in between that and the oil pan. Not sure how well this is going to show up, but I'm going to try and follow that line back to the rear. Yep, there it is. That's that skinny one right in the middle. I just kind of ran that along the driver's side frame rail. And on the other side of the transfer case, that's the frame rail fuel filter. I just ran that line right above it. You can see it right there above the two fuel lines. Run back to the tank. So, and then once I got right about in line with the tank, I took it outside the frame rail into the wheel well. Okay, this is outside the frame rail now, just behind that body mount. And that's the spring mount there. It just goes up above that. And right about in the middle of the spring, in line with the tire, it goes back inside. So the line goes down inside the frame rail, back in the back, and I connected it right there in the middle. That's the cross member of the frame that goes directly under the bed. And there's the spare tire, so that gives you an idea of whereabouts it's located. And then again, that T-fitting, that just branches out to the individual shock lines for the left and right. And that's about all there is to it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get these things synced up. It's telling us to press this little button down inside the controller until the light flashes. So let me see if I can find the button. There it is. And it looks like it's on, so that's good. Let's see if it does anything here.